Well, the city of Newport-News has a new program aimed at limiting interactions between police officers and those experiencing mental health issues. The police and fire departments teamed up with behavioral health experts to launch the CARE program. Dana Smith has more on how it works and why it's needed.
Those in charge of the new CARE program say the point of the initiative is to improve the outcomes of encounters between police officers and people in the middle of mental health crises.
There's definitely a need. It's been a long time coming.
These 4 professionals are part of the Newport-News CARE program, the Community Assistance Response Program. When a 911 call comes in about someone experiencing a mental health crisis, they're the ones who will respond.
History has shown that police aren't necessarily needed for mental health crises.
Police Chief Steve Drew said his department often receives calls about people who are acting disorderly or appear distraught.
What we find is there's no crime being committed, that someone is going through some type of crisis or some type of challenge, whether it's not on their medication, they don't have their medication, there's some mental illness there.
This is where the CARE team steps in to provide an appropriate response and minimize contact between officers and the person who needs help.
Because when we show up in this uniform, in some cases like that, it can escalate the situation. It can make it a little more challenging.
As part of this new program, a paramedic and a mental health professional will respond to calls, with a police officer only there as backup.
We definitely have a mental health crisis in the area, and the purpose of our program is to just pay special attention to them and try to get them resources and help that they need in an emergency crisis.
The Newport News Police and Fire Departments teamed up with the Hampton Newport News Community Services Board to launch the program.
Try a different avenue to address the crisis.
The program started last Monday, and Fire Chief Jeff Johnson said there were more than 30 calls for service in the first week. In Newport News, Dana Smith, 13 News Now.
And according to city leaders, Newport News is the only city in Hampton Roads to operate a program like this. Police Chief Steve Drew said it's not about being the first, but about providing the best service to citizens.